Do you own a DSLR or mirrorless camera, or a fancy camera as I used to call it, and try and take photos with it sometimes and end up just disappointed in how they look? If you own a fancy camera and are shooting on automatic instead of manual, you are letting your camera make choices for you instead of your brain, and chances are photos are not going to turn out how you dreamed they would look when you got that camera. Hi, my name is Jill and I'm a photographer and educator, and I teach moms how to take meaningful photos of their kids and turn it into a business that provides and thrives. I'm so excited to talk to you today about the difference between shooting an automatic and manual and why it matters so much and why it's something that you should learn how to do. Now, before you tune out, if you do not have a fancy camera yet, some of these ideas and concepts can apply to using a cell phone to take photos too, because whether you know it or not, your cell phone camera has a lot of advanced options on it that can allow you to make some of the determinations about the settings and therefore control what's going to happen a little bit more than if you just let the camera decide. So stay tuned, 5 minutes or less, on why learning to shoot in manual can make all the difference in your photos. When I bought my first fancy camera, I was a new mom and I was so excited to get those beautiful photos with the blurry background, bokeh, that I really craved getting. I saw them online, I saw them from professional photographers, and I wanted that of my little guy as he was endlessly growing and changing day by day. My husband and I had always been interested in photography, so we decided to dive in and buy a fancy camera, and it came to my house with the kit lens, which is usually the lens that a camera comes with automatically when you buy it. And I put that lens on and I was so excited. I whipped out my camera and took my first photo. And I was so disappointed. It took me a really long time and a large combination of factors to determine what it was that was going to make my photos look how I wanted. And I'm going to break those things down for you in future videos. But the biggest change, the best thing you can do for your photos is to learn how to shoot in manual. When you are shooting in automatic, the big green A, you are letting your camera make every decision. And cameras are pretty good. Technology has massively advanced, especially if you're using a newer mirrorless camera. It's amazing what they can do. But a lot of us are using entry-level cameras or cameras that were passed down to us, cameras that have sat on a shelf for a really long time. And I promise you, your brain, no matter how uncreative you think you are, is better at making those decisions than your camera is. It can be really daunting to learn to shoot in manual because there are a few different steps. But the truth is that once you learn those steps and begin to practice them, the change in your photos will be immediate. And I know that it will be so worth it for you, like it has been for me and so many other students of mine. I'm going to show you a few photos now where you're going to see three options. You're going to see what a cell phone image looks like. You're going to see what a camera on automatic looks like. And you're going to see what a camera in manual looks like when you're choosing the settings. And the difference is astounding to me. Our kids are little for such a short amount of time. And to me, it is so worth it to take the time to figure out how to get your photos to look like these manual photos look versus the automatic photos or the cell phone photos, of course. Now, there's nothing wrong with using your cell phone to photograph your kids. I'm always a proponent of using the camera that you have. And for some people, they're just not interested in getting a fancy camera. And that's totally fine. But for those of you who do have one, I highly recommend that you take the time to learn how to use it. I think some people get a little overwhelmed because they think if they're going to shoot in manual, they have to be able to do everything on their camera. But the truth is, if you can learn how to control your ISO, your image stabilization optimization, your shutter speed, and your aperture or your f-stop, those three things are going to make a huge difference. Some people think that when they shoot in manual, they're going to have to focus with that ring for every photo. Nope, your camera does focus better than your eye. There are some tricks to make it even better, but you do not have to use that ring. And some people also think they're going to have to do some sort of custom dialing in of white balance for every photo or use extra tools to get their white balance right. And I don't think that's true either. I think your camera does a pretty decent job most of the time with both white balance and focus. But I do not think that it can always determine those other three factors that I mentioned. And I think it's worth it for your time that you're putting into taking photos anyways, and for the memories of your family, to learn how to put those three factors together and shoot in manual so that you can tell your camera what to do in any situation to take beautiful photos. If you want to know more about that, stay tuned because a lot more information is coming very soon to help you learn to shoot in manual in an easy, understandable way that can help you take better pictures within a couple of hours. Go ahead and hit subscribe below to make sure that you don't miss any future videos, and keep your eyes out because a big tool is coming your way to change your photos from "oh, what just happened?" to "oh my gosh, that's what I always wanted to take of my kids and family." Stay tuned and we'll talk to you soon.